Well, it only took 5 episodes to get to the point where our couples are actually together. That is absolutely ridiculous. First 4 episodes spent on, rehashing everything that was already shown on the matchmaking specials, dragging out the weddings, dragging out the wedding nights, having that whole pointless breakfast with the in-laws. 4 episodes, like, come on, punch that out in an episode, 2 episodes max. Don't drag that out over 4 episodes, because we want to get into the season. We want to get into these couples. We don't want to watch the weddings. We want to watch their actual relationship, because already things are starting to get interesting. It took just 1 episode before we have the formings of the first big blow up of the season. And I wanted to start on Nicole and Chris, because I was like, hey, let's start on a positive note, but I really don't think I can. We're going to talk about Gina and Clint, but first I just want to address the Dominique and Clint kiss, I guess, that was, I guess, shown in one of the commercials tonight. We don't totally know the context of that, if it's like some sort of game that they're doing or what. Regardless, Dominique and Clint should not be kissing, but it's kind of created a little bit of a stir over what happened. Why on earth would they show that to us if it is a genuine kiss between Dominique and Clint? It's bizarre. And, I don't really want to say anything until we get to see the whole context of that situation. But yes, I have seen that there's apparently a commercial that was shown tonight that showed Dominique and Clint kissing. But no, not going to jump to any conclusions until we see what's going on there. But I wouldn't be surprised if that is one reason why neither of their relationships end up working out. All right, Gina and Clint, first day of the honeymoon, get completely lost in Jamaica. And, as much as that might be like a terrible story, this could be the absolute high point of this marriage. Getting lost on a bus in Jamaica because a road got washed out, and then driving around pointlessly for several hours before going to see some waterfall. And then following up that, things start just going downhill for these two. And really, I was putting a lot of the pre-blame on Clint, and that's on me. I should always wait to see what actually happens in these situations, what actually happens with these couples, because previously I was burying Clint for his actions and words towards Gina, when we saw tonight that it's actually Gina who starts the war of words between the two, when she just busts her shovel out, starts digging herself a nice old hole on day 4. Opens up with no physical chemistry between them, when you could see Clint was like very much on pushing the conversation in the direction of, wow, everything's so great between us, we're getting along so well, I'm really looking forward to this. And then Gina just busts out, yeah, there's absolutely no physical chemistry between us. I'm not attracted to gingery features. To not saying you're unattractive, but that's what you are. And I know that that's a little bit of a miscommunication, but that's what came out of her mouth. Not saying you ugly, but you ugly. That's just how it came across. And how is Clint supposed to be just cool about those comments? And we've now seen in the preview that in the group setting, Clint is going to start to fire back at Gina. Probably not the best way to handle things. Gina rolls in, squirts him with the water gun, so Clint is pulling out the bazooka to end the conversation once and for all. not a good look for either of them long term, and looks very, very bad for this couple. We had already said that these two were going to be a no. All of us watching think that this is going to be a no. We're seeing vacation Gina at this point. We haven't seen real life Gina. We haven't seen Gina who is married to her job, not married to her husband. We're just seeing the Gina that goes on a vacation right now. So I don't even think that these two are even remotely compatible, or that their lifestyles mesh in any way, shape, or form. And if we're on day 4 and she thinks it's okay to just call him ugly, yeah, it's just not going to end well for these two. All right, we've had our negativity. Let's jump back to the positivity that I wanted to start with, but Gina had to go and ruin that, and then Dominique and Clint had to go and make out in a preview. So Nicole and Chris, we love them. They're the reason we're tuning in. Yeah, we might like the dirt, we might like the drama, but years down the road, this is going to be the couple that we're talking about. This is going to be the couple that when we're talking about a good match, that this is who we're referring to. And it's just so nice to at least be able to watch one good couple on the season. What a breath of fresh air they are. I was talking to my wife at the start of the episode about how they have these little points of connection, reaching out, the way they reach out and grab a hand, the way they make sure they touch each other. That really reminds me of how we show affection to each other. We're sitting on the couch there, and one of us will reach out and give the other's arm a squeeze, grab the other person's hand, and that's just, that's really how we show love. And to see that on the screen puts a smile on my face, makes me happy, makes me think that there can be at least one positive thing on this show. It has been seasons since we had, who was the last couple that we were really positive about? Woody and Amani? Maybe? And what's that, 3-4 seasons ago? That's rough. That is very rough. That is a wasteland of bad matchmaking in between having a couple, just a couple we can root for. So excited to watch their journey. I thought both of them handled the kids conversation very well. We got baited on the preview where they tried to make us think that Nicole was not open to having kids, when very clearly she was trying to say hey, in the past I wasn't open to having kids, but now I am open to it, but I'm not saying yes or no. And Chris was pretty cool with that. He didn't just leave it as the decision is yours and that's fine. He more left it as, hey, I'd like to have this conversation again further down the line when we're further into the relationship. And I thought, what a great way to handle it. It's something that he very much wants, something that she's on the fence about, and neither of them ended up saying hey, it's my way or the highway. They both said hey, I'm open to being convinced, or I'm open to the possibility of changing my mind, and let's not ruin things right now over this. Let's maybe revisit this conversation when we know a little bit more what our relationship actually is. All right, the positivity's out of the way. We even got some of the negativity out of the way, and let's jump into more negativity. And that's right, we're going into Jasmine and Eris. Imagine you're sitting with your significant other, having a romantic evening, and the first question they ask you is, what's your favorite sexual position? How does this guy get on the show? You know, he's my age. You know, I'm 40. He was 39 when they shot that. He's probably 40 now. And there he is. That's like the first words that are going to come out of his mouth. You know, what was the other thing that he said, that she's acting like a lady and she should be more of a whore, that he wants to pull her demon out. Just, what is this guy? Get him off our screens. Get him out of here. I don't know what, like, if you sat down and had a conversation with him, you would know who this guy is. If you did some grand vetting, some huge application process, you would 100% know exactly what kind of person this is. You know, we were slamming on Felina last week, Eris's cousin, for basically just trying to shut down the wedding and everything before it even got started. And turns out maybe she was right. Maybe we should have been shutting this thing down before it ever started, because this guy is nowhere even close to being ready for a real relationship. You know, and that doesn't have anything to do with him not having been in love before, him apparently not even understanding what the word love means. You know, when he described what love is, he was straight up describing lust. He was full on describing lust and not love at all. You know, he was basically saying, like, yeah, love is when that person's the only thing you can think about, and basically everything in an absolutely obsessive manner. No. No. Love is just, first off, when you want to put somebody before yourself. And that's at a pretty low level, but like, that is what you're growing off of. Not obsession, not I don't even know. But he's out to lunch, and he's so clearly not ready for this. And now Jasmine, she's got to just struggle through 8 weeks with this guy, and that's just cruel by the producers and the experts to put her through that, because from what we've seen of Jasmine, you know, she seems like she's not too bad. She seems all right so far. And Eris is just an F-boy, and that's it, plain and simple. Dominique and McKinley, once again, really just feeling like calm before the storm for these two. We now have the potential Dominique and Clint kiss. We have McKinley's mom offering him $50,000 to not go on the show. We have all the race issues that were brought up by Dominique's family that they didn't believe McKinley was going to be ready to handle, and who knows what else as potential blow up for these two in the future. And I just really don't want to weigh in on these two until we hit that point where things blow up. Yeah, they seemed pretty nice. They seemed pretty flirty. They seemed like they're into each other right now, but I just don't buy that is going to last for very long. Lastly, we have Kirsten and Shaquille. They show up to the honeymoon the morning after. You know, they had kind of led us to believe initially that they weren't going to be going on the honeymoon at all, and then they tried to make us believe that they were going to miss a good portion of the honeymoon. And then it's the morning of the first day of the honeymoon, and there they are rolling into the resort, where the other four couples, all they did was arrive there and go to bed. So they missed one night in Jamaica, and that is it. Everything else they got to experience. You know, they got to go on their big ATV adventure right away. The music changes during the ATV scene were hilarious. They had like the fast-paced music when it was Kirsten driving the ATV, and then cut to the elevator music for Shaquille. Pretty interesting. We also saw Kirsten tell Shaquille that she wasn't attracted to him initially, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, you've known this man for 2 days. I'm having a hard time believing that you thought he was ugly at the altar and now your tune has changed completely. I do think both of them handled that situation significantly better than Gina and Clint, but still, that's gotta hurt hearing that from your significant other, no matter the circumstances. And she had some bald comment. I don't remember the exact wording of it. It was like, just casually said, "and your bald ass," something like that, and just made me think, like, that's kind of insensitive. Like, maybe that's already just a running little joke between them, an inside joke, and maybe in that scenario, maybe it's fine, but didn't really feel that way, and made me think that those words, they have to sting a little bit for Shaquille. Thought that I appreciated that Kirsten really vocalized that she felt like Shaquille was trying to be too perfect, you know, like a little bit fake, and trying to tell him that, you know, she just wants him to be natural when they talk to each other, and they're not at that point yet. But I thought that was a really good thing for her to do, because I really get that vibe from Shaquille that he's trying to project the image that he wants you to believe he is, and not necessarily the person that he actually is. And not that there's a huge discrepancy between those two, but, you know, she's saying, hey, I want to get to know the real you and not the fake you. Also was brought up that Shaquille just keeps talking about himself and we don't hear anything about her. Even Shaquille brought that up, but it feels like every time there's a conversation, he's got some anecdote about, you know, something from his past that he just whips out immediately, and that kind of just pulls the conversation straight back to him. All right, let's wrap things up right there for this week. Definitely the best episode so far this season, because it's the first time we actually got to see the couples together. You know, we're starting to get more and more reasons and information why these couples are not going to work out long term that we had speculated on before. But it's nice to actually start to see that we were right in those assumptions. So, as always, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I'm out.